What's up, good people? Yeah, I'm driving today. I plan to make a couple of videos today, but anyway, I'm driving, yes. The other videos I won't drive. How about that? Make a compromise. All right, so I want to talk today about, defining success. Defining success, and defining success can be a difficult thing because success, there really is two measures of it. The first measure of success is, having achieved a certain goal or a set of goals, a goal or a certain set of goals. And so, people are often, trying to define success primarily based on what others have set the goals out to be. They have set the goals. They have set the standards, right? This is what happens when you graduate from college or from high school or from a training class, or they give you a certificate because you sat in a weeks-long class about DEI or whatever, right? So this is the goals, right? Anyone out there, whoever has prepared any type of lecture, there's mission goals and task goals and objectives and all this kind of stuff, right? So you gotta right, just sitting in the class or sitting in a class from the course for a length of time, and they want you to achieve something. What was your purpose of sitting here for a week? Particularly if you got to take a time off from your job to teach for a week or whatever, or sit in this class, right? What did you get? What did you bring it? Right? So those are goals and objectives that you have to be aware of and that you're trying to achieve. So those are goals that other people have set, right? Get this passing grade, drive this test for your CDL, pass this exam so you can enter into this academy or whatever, right? But the other type of goal that we want to talk about, my success and your success, is whatever you set for yourself. And that's what I want you guys to really embark on. And it's a journey of self-exploration. The community today, men today, had their success and their goals. Had their success and their goals outlined for them by previous generations. I mean, if you take a look at a picture from the 1960s, or how everybody dressed, 1950s, it changed in the 60s. We wouldn't go 1950s. Everybody's wearing a dark suit with a pretty thin tie. Not everyone, but there are many pictures like that, right? That was the standard. Not very colorful. Some people try to step outside the box. But that was what it was, right? That's what it was. So then you get the 60s who kind of rebelled against that, right? You get the flower childs and hippies and all that kind of stuff, right? With bell-bottom pants and getting away from this corporate image that people had for them. And so sometimes I think that's a good thing, because it gives you your ability to think for yourself, and it gives you the ability to think outside the box and to explore new depths, right? That's how we get all this new information. Somebody had to say, this method of doing whatever we're doing is not it. It's a better way to do this thing, better way to look at this, right? Build a better mousetrap, as it were. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. And I think that we should strive to be that person who thinks outside the box, who doesn't want to fit in and all that. And that's how we measure success. So I'm telling you today to measure success by your own metric. I'm not saying it's okay to drop out of school. I'm not saying any of that. But I am saying that you have a dream, have a goal, and then do what it takes to get there, right? So you may not be the person who, fathers and mothers, parents set goals. They want to see their children succeed. And sometimes that goal setting that they have can intrude upon who you are as a person, right? I don't want to, when I was a kid, man, my aunt, she really wanted me to take piano lessons. I am not, and I took them for a little bit. I can, pretty much still read music for a little, I got to practice, but I am not a musically astute person. And there's a side of my family that is they're extremely talented. They can sing, many of them can play numerous instruments. They can sing. I am, it's just like, I think it's like 20% of the population is tone deaf. I am tone deaf. I am not musically inclined. If you watch other videos, I tell you, if I'm going to a party or to a dance, um, particularly like a wedding or something like that, where the electric slide and all these other line dances are going to be done, I got to practice, right? Because I'm not naturally coordinated like that. So I have to practice. So I got to do what I got to do. So those are goals that I set for myself, right? So I'm saying, the parents set goals for you, and you should not be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed, and to meet those goals, those standards, right? I know sometimes it's hard. I know sometimes that people, they really, really want that for you, but if it's not what you want to be and not what you want to do, you got to be true to yourself. And everybody's not fit for college. Everybody's not fit for the military. Everybody's not fit to work outside. Everybody's not fit to play the piano. Everybody is not fit to do these types of things. And you got to figure out where you fit in at. And then that's the operative. We talk about becoming the best version of yourself. It's not about what I want. It's about what you want. It's not about what your professors want. It's what you want. And this is why adult learners, I don't want to say do much better, but they have a greater grasp of information and material because they're more settled, right? Other students, right? I can always tell, right? Even without looking at grades. I'm sorry, looking at ages and stuff. I can tell who the adult learner is in, right? Because I teach online, so I get a mix of students. And those young kids, they're just here because their parents are making them go. They're just in college because their parents are making them go. But those people who want that promotion, right? You can't get this promotion unless you have a bachelor's degree. Oh, those people are hungry. Those people are hungry. So I'm telling you to set goals for yourself, and it's okay. I know you don't want to set it. You don't want to let anybody down. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You don't want looks of anxiety and sucking their teeth and just feelings of avoidance and like this person is going to stop talking to me or what if I don't do what they want me to do. I'm telling you to become the best version of yourself, to set goals for yourself, to you can't be worried about what other people are going to think, and you can't compare yourself to what other people have done. I recognize that in my life, things that I wanted to achieve in my life is because I had some things that I needed to overcome from my own self-esteem. I had to achieve these things. I had to push myself. And that could be different for somebody else. Somebody else might be like, listen, I need to, run this 40-yard dash or whatever in less than 5 seconds. Am I even saying that right? I don't really watch. I know the Olympics just passed. I didn't watch any of that. So, set the standard for yourself. The only competition is yourself. The only competition is yourself. You should be the only competition in asking yourself what you achieve. Are you achieving your own personal goals? Did you wake up in the morning and make your bed? Are you learning to cook for yourself? Are you learning to drive Are you learning to drive? What goals did you set for yourself? Did you accomplish this task? Did you apply to go back to school? Did you start your weight loss journey? Did you start your weight gaining journey with putting on muscle? This is what is important. And you're the only competition. When you wake up in the morning, you wipe the crust and dust out of your eyes and you look at yourself in the mirror. Are you happy with the person that you see before you? And if not, what are you doing to change it? Change the things that you can change. Change the things that you can change. You can listen. There's so many different sayings out there, right? So you got to be happy with yourself. You got to be happy with who you are. You got to be very, very content with the person who's looking back at you in that mirror. And if you don't like what you see, man, you can change it. Work on yourself. Work on your game, your attitude, your your physicality, work on your presentation, work on your oral skills, work on your mental thinking, your mental cognition, read a book, or start a podcast, write some stuff down, write goals down, keep a journal, do what you have to do in order to improve, and do it for yourself. Don't do it to get a woman, don't do it to get a man, don't do it to get a job, don't do it to gain the favor of your family or friends or parental approval. Don't do it for any other reason but for yourself. My grandmother, what's this guy doing? What are you doing, dude? My grandmother and my aunt, they used to always say, the teacher got their education. The teacher got their education. The parents, they would say, listen, I got my education, right? When I would be struggling with math or something, right? Like, things get harder, right? You start studying, I can remember studying like fractions and stuff, right? It didn't make sense. Fraction, multiplication tables, right? Division, right? Everything gets harder, right? And then everything just goes on from there. But you look back upon it, right? After you've achieved it, passed it, and understood it, and you can get these things, man. You can get these things. I'm not an educational expert, but I don't believe this is not a scholar expounding upon this, because I'm not an expert. I'm just saying that I think that a lot of times people just, certain things we are geared toward. Certainly there are things that more people are musically inclined. That is a thing. I am not musically inclined. Some people are not inclined mathematically, right? I struggle, with my statistics. I did algebra and calculus and geometry and Calc 2 and Calculus 2 and whatever, all that. Some differential equations and stuff. When I got to statistics and stuff, I was like, man, I need this broken down for me. So there's things that we get and some things we don't get. But I'm saying to push yourself to make it to where you are satisfied with yourself. Push yourself. Just because it's hard doesn't mean you should give up, and just because it's hard doesn't mean that you should think that it's not for you, or that you have some learning disability and all that. I don't like to tell too much, but they said my daughter had a learning disability, right? I went and got her some books, and I sat down with her for a couple of weeks. She had no learning disability. She just needed some more attention. Here, we're going to read this, right? We're going to sound out the words. I bought her some phonetic books, because they didn't, again, I don't know what they're teaching in school and stuff, but she needed some phonetical help, right? The PH, the GH, the long sounding vowels and stuff, right? All that kind of stuff, right? How do you make a word, right? MAKE, right? She didn't understand, that. And once I explained to her, right, the AKE or whatever, the KE or LE or whatever, like male, MALE, all that. Once she understood how to break all that down, then the reading issues went away. So these teachers, I am not a scholar. I am not a pedagogical expert. That means pedagogy means teaching little kids and all that teaching. Where andragogy is adult learners, where they kind of are self-taught. Essentially, that's what that means. So I'm not a pedagogical scholar, right? But this, I don't know what they're doing in school. I was so disappointed in that. I had to show my kids how to do math and all this stuff. Like, what are y'all doing? You guys are far more educated than I am. So I don't know what's going on. So anyway, you gotta set these standards. You gotta set these standards for yourself, and you gotta push yourself. You cannot get frustrated with yourself. It's easy to get frustrated. It's easy, man. The first few times I tried to ride a bike, I was falling off, skin in my knee. But after a while, man, you get it. You get it. You will get it. You got to keep doing it. Keep doing. Just because you don't try it once, or just because you try something once or twice or 3 times, doesn't mean that it's and you fail at it and you fall down and it's not right. It's not correct. But man, once you get it, once you keep putting in your mind to it, we got to develop an attitude of stick-to-itness and perseverance. And I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep striving. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep striving. There's my best friend and I. We have 2 rap lyrics from I'm probably gonna not forget. I'm probably gonna forget him right now. But we always say it to each other, And one is, from Nas, he had to hustle hard and never give up until he made it. And now other people saying that's a clever brother, needs nothing to play with, but he had to keep going. He had to keep striving. He had to keep going. And the other one is from Eminem, right? He was chewed up, spit out, and booed off stage. We say that to each other all the time, right? We say it to each other, right? Sometimes we just call each other up. Sometimes we just text it to each other. We laugh and whatever. But that stuff means something. It means something, man. Because we knew where we came from. We were both a couple of kids who grew up in the inner city, and we wanted to be something. We don't want to be what our surroundings were. His brother, my best friend, is constantly traveling. Constantly. Him and his wife, they're constantly going out there just traveling, enjoying life, enjoying his grandkids, living in a nice home, nice community. We know where we came from, but we had to keep going. We had to keep pressing. Nobody's going to give it to you. You got to keep going. You got to keep driving, striving. So Eminem was chewed up, spit out, booed off. Think about that lyric. And booed off. Get off the stage. Get off the stage, right? But he didn't give up. He kept going. He went back. He went back. And Nas had to hustle hard and never give up. Never give up. Writing rhymes, people laughing at you, you suck, you corny, this, that, and the other. But you got to do it for yourself. And you got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in you, my aunt used to say this to me all the time. And I want you to think about, when sometimes I'm so impressed by my lineage, right? And this is why lineage and family members matter. My aunt was much older than my mother. Much older. She was 18 years older than my mother, right? Imagine being 18-year-old, your mother, imagine being 18 years old or 17. Your mother ends up pregnant. Imagine that. So, well, I'm sure it happens all the time now, but back then, right? So she came up in the 40s and 30s and stuff, living this type of life. And she would say this stuff to me, right? She would say like all these little positive statements. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? She would say, don't ever talk bad about yourself, because if you talk bad about yourself, then other people are going to talk bad about you. She would say this stuff. She would say it. A woman who grew up in the 40s, 50s, in the 30s, right? It's crazy. You got to believe in yourself. You got to keep going. And if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. If you talk bad about yourself, your self-talk, they say that your body hears you and it will respond. Don't ever say, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I can't understand, I can't get it, it's too hard, it's too tough. No. The only time anything is really over is when it's done, over, complete, final. But as long as you got breath in your lungs, as long as you have the ability to try, as long as you just keep going, you just keep doing it. You erase it and just do it again. You just do it again until you can't do it anymore. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep striving and going and pushing and loving and shoving and keep it and loving yourself. Positive self-talk. So I just wanted to drop that for a minute. I see a lot of people, man. Who really need a good push. To become successful and to really become the best version of themselves, man. And I want to be a one who gives you that push to let you know you can make it, man. You can make it. You can do it. You can make it. You can do it. I believe that you can do it. You just gotta put your mind to it, and you gotta consume positive content all the time. Consume positive content. Read books that are giving you good information. Watch podcasts that are doing it. Watch people not idolize, but look up to people who pushed themselves through, and understand that the finished product. I'm going to leave it off here. Understand that the finished product that you see are the years of hard work. Like I said about Nas, the rapper, all these different people, right? They were laughed at, called corny, called lame, called dumb. You're rhyming. That all happened to them. The best preachers had, messed up a lot of times. The best politicians didn't make the best decisions. The best coaches, the best NFL athletes, the best chess players, the best piano players. They all when you see them on stage and in concerts and doing that, is the years and years of practice and failing and all that. And so you if you want to be that person, you got to keep going. You will have setbacks, yes, but you got to keep going. So define success for yourself, and don't do it to please other people. That is a key component, because as long as other people have that ability to say whether you're positive, negative, whether you have any worth or value, then that will be a stranglehold that you will have for the rest of your life. But when you can sit back and say, I did it for me. This is why, people ask me, I've been asked a couple times, why don't you write some papers, do some research? I didn't do it for that. I don't want to do it for that. I did it for me. Yeah, I want people to call me doctor and all that, but I did it for me. I didn't tell anybody I went back to school. I just went back. I had some things that I needed to overcome from my own past traumatic experiences and upbringing. And this was something that I needed to know, that I have the ability and capabilities to achieve this level of success. But that's what I did. You have to find your own path and what's going to give you peace, joy, comfort, and that you know that you can do it. And so you know that you have this ability, a talent to achieve whatever goal, whatever marker that you set for yourself, right? So I'll leave it off there. So I grew up in church, and I'll leave for you biblical scholars out there, right? Again, I don't claim to be religious, but it is definitely a positive statement. The Apostle Paul said he pressed toward the mark of the prize. That means that he had to crawl, he had to walk, he had to run sometimes, he had to fight. It was a mental, he didn't just say he was just walking there. It's a press. Sometimes I don't feel like doing it. Sometimes I don't want to get out of bed in the morning. Sometimes people are laughing at me. Sometimes people aren't with me. I think my friends should be supporting me. I think my family should be supporting me. But no, he said, I do it. You gotta work on that internal drive, that internal motivation to become the best version of yourself. That's what you got to work towards. Much love and peace.